your last meeting.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Oh, yeah, we did talk.
Did she go down?
Huh?
Never a second.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything, so.
Oh, Jay. Wait, game changer.
Are you sure?
This chair is really low.
Well, that's okay, that'll do me. I'm not for sure that you're older.
I'm sure. I don't know. Are you over 62?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to call this reorganization meeting of the West Milford Board of Ed to order. Join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, a public notice of this meeting has been sent to board members, all district schools, the Herald News, the Trends, the Record, the Messenger, West Milford Town Hall, the County Superintendent's Office, and Board Attorney, Cablevision of Warwick, and West Milford TV 77, posted in the Administration Building. Copies of the board meeting calendar resolution were provided to all local media, Town Hall, Township Library, and all school districts. At this time, I'd like to report on the election results from the November 4th election? 3rd. Oh, time flies. November 3rd election. There were 5 candidates for 3 seats. Debbie O'Brien received 8,914 votes. Linda Van Dyke received 8,806 votes. Raymond Garino received 8,734 votes. Michelle Bunsen will receive 4,177 votes. And William Seidowitz received 3,919 votes, and there were 176 write-in ballots. At this time, Mr. Brown will administer the oath of office to Mrs. O'Brien, Mrs. Van Dyke, and Mr. Garino.
Yeah, sure.
Especially distant middle. Or stay where you are, so. Sounds good. Is that better?
Pretty good, that's it, fine.
Okay. Please repeat after me. I
I, Linda Van Dyke,
do solemnly swear that I will support
solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established by the United States and this state,
as to the governments established by the United States and this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I
I, Linda Van Dyke,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that I
swear
possess the qualifications prescribed by law
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
for the office of a member of Board of Education,
for the office of a member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter
and I am not disqualified as a voter
pursuant to RS 19:4-1.
RS 19:4-1.
Nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in
or offense listed in
NJSA 18A-12-1.
NJSAA 18-12-1.
And that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and that I will faithfully, partially, and justly
perform all of the duties of that office
perform all the duties of the office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
So
ability.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Your Honor.
At this time, I'd like to ask Mrs. O'Brien if she has any remarks.
you hear me, by the way, because I'm not accustomed to talking through?
That's fine.
Hearing? Yeah. Oh, you can, okay. My sincerest thank you to the West Milford community for their support in electing back to Board of Education. I am looking forward to be working with my fellow trustees as well as with our administration to do what is best for our educational community. I also want to thank the most patient husband a woman could have, my husband John, as well as our sons Bill and Dan for their support.
Mrs. Van Dyke, do you have any remarks?
I just want to thank everyone for their support, and I look forward to continuing to work with my fellow board members to move West Milford forward, and I thank my family for all their support, and I look forward to a new year.
Mr. Garino, do you have any remarks?
Just thank you to the people of West Milford for putting your faith in the three of us to help the town and the schools move forward. Thanks to my family, and thanks to all of you that have been working on the board with for the past year. I think we've got great relationships, and I hope to see that continue.
Thank you all. So I'm going to call roll call now. Mr. Stillman?
Here.
Mr. Conklin?
Here.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Here.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Here.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Here.
Mrs. Romeo?
Here.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Garino?
Here.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Here.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to call for nominations for the office of president. Do I have a nomination? Mr. Garino?
I would like to nominate Linda Van Dyke.
Okay, are there any other nominations from the floor? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mrs. Van Dyke, please assume. And you can then take over and ask for nominations. Oh, I have to close the nomination. Yeah, we have to close the nomination. I know, I already did that. Just formally, who do we want to close? Dave? Courtney?
I motion to close.
To close the nomination. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, you have to do a roll call?
Yeah.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Garino?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
11,078 votes for Mrs. Yes.
Okay, and here we are, and find us to the point where I don't have to sit here anymore. Come on up here, and then you can make your remarks.
Okay. I'd just like to thank all of my fellow board members for endorsing me again for president. I will do my best to support each one of you and to support the Board of Education and to help keep the information flowing and that everything is open and everybody has a voice around this table. I just look forward to working with Dr. Anamone and Mrs. Francisco and Mr. Novak and Dr. McQuaid in moving forward. And we look forward to a much better 2021 than we had 2020. Thank you. All right, let's see where we are. Okay. I need a nomination for vice president. Any, Ray?
So I haven't talked to her, but I'd like to nominate Terry Dwyer again.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Any other nominations for vice president? If not, I need a motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, roll call. Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Romeo? Yes. Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson? Yes. Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien? Yes. Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mr. Obshinsky?
Yes.
Congratulations, Mrs. Dwyer.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you for supporting me.
Andy.
As Linda said, we'll hope to have a better 2021 than we've had in 2020. I look forward to moving the district, I hate that it starts moving it forward. I look forward to making improvements in our district and working with the administration to try to get us on a road to blue ribbon schools. That's our main focus. And to treat everyone equally, whether you're an athlete or a student. So we have a long road ahead, and I look forward to traveling on that with my board members. Thank you.
Congratulations, and I look forward to working with you again.
Thank you. Yeah, so do I.
Our next item of business is our ethics presentation. We have Miss Kathy Hellaway here from New Jersey School Board. Welcome. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Okay.
I always feel welcome here, and it's really nice to be back with you. You can't see me smiling, but I definitely am. Thank you so much for having me. Congratulations on your re-elections and on your appointment of officers.
Thank you.
Really nice to work with the school. And I'm here for ethics training, which I am happy to say I have done annually with West Milford. You guys are very, very diligent. And that's the upside. The downside, if there is one, is that you've all heard this stuff before. A lot of fun. We've updated the presentation, but I am not going to be as in-depth as I typically am. I'm just going to highlight some of the things that are new for 2021, meaning some decisions that came down last year that are rather interesting. And if you have any questions, by all means, ask me, either now or later. Your field service rep, you know how to get in touch with me, email or phone call. Perfect. It's always great to hear from you as well. So, that being said, I believe you all have copies of this. We're just distributing them electronically. I think Barbara furnished you with also the acknowledgement of receipt form, which you'll sign and get over to Barbara when you can. That this shows that we talked about this and it takes care of your QSAC requirements. But to go through the slideshow together, we all know what the Ethics Act is about. It's legislation about holding the trust and confidence. People that you thank, people who believe that you are the one to, who are best suited to advance human achievement here in North America. So the Ethics Act, of course, is a collection of minimum standards that board members must abide by. There's a QSAC requirements talking about it, and also to doing your training and filling out your disclosure statements, which are also part of the things that the Ethics Act established. And I'm not going to go through all this, but this is a great chart to have. Keep this packet. If you have questions about what kind of training you need to do, it's right here. The Ethics Commission makeup has not changed since last time I saw you. There is still a vacancy on it, and it is still one of the 2 school board member seats. So there are only 8 people on the commission right now, most of whom are not school officials. And they're still doing their thing with advisory opinions and ethics complaints. And just to re-articulate, advisory opinions are non-punitive, they are advisory. They are about behavior that is either going on now or that you're contemplating between either you or your fellow board members. And ethics complaints are, after the fact, you bothered somebody, they're mad at you, they think that you've violated the act, and they file an ethics complaint. And if you are found in violation of the act, that is punitive, and here are the different penalties that the commission the School Ethics Commission may recommend to the commissioner. We've had examples of all 4 of these this year. The commission has recommended a reprimand, a censure, suspension, and removal in all different cases in 2020. That being said, this is the kind of work that they did. They meet monthly in Trenton, and this year the bulk of their work was comprised ethics violations, but 20 of those were dismissed. 4 cases we'll talk about, I'll touch on a little later. They heard and drafted 21 requests for advisory opinions, but only one of those was made public. And we'll talk about that. But mandatory training violations, this is interesting. So get your training done when you can, as soon as you possibly can, if you're up for training. Because 8 people were removed from their boards last year because they did not complete their training. 4 were suspended, so they didn't mean business, and 10 people were reprimanded, which is embarrassing and cost the district some huge capital, not good. Here is the advisory opinion that the commission published this year. It is the only one that was made public. You need 6 votes by the commissioners to put this on their website. And they're typically put on the website because the commissioners believe that this would be helpful for other school boards to learn from. It's all scrubbed up, so we don't know where it came from or who asked for it. But if you do go on their website, this is the opinion is published in its entirety. The language is very interesting. I'm telling you, it's almost snarky, so it may be worth a read. And I'm not quite sure why this one was published, because it seems a little bit obvious to me. But the superintendent in the school district wanted his sister-in-law to be considered for a promotion. And as you guys know, you can be grandfathered in if, if the superintendent is hired and they belong to you and you already work in the district. But after that, the superintendent can't hire a relative unless they're in very narrow exceptions and the ECS has to approve it. This one was a cafeteria worker you wanted to promote her to a separate person. And he asked me if it was fair that she was being, held back because of her her family relationship with the superintendent. Was that fair? And the SEC was like, yeah, it's fair, all right, you can't do it. So that one was kind of interesting. But the other things that they did, the ethics complaints all go back to the code of ethics. And here it is. You were very familiar with this. I'm just going to kind of breeze through. You're going to uphold all laws and regulations and everything that you're required to do by the courts, by the State Board of Ed. You're making your decisions in terms of the educational welfare of all children, not just your own, not just any particular group, but all children. Your board action is confined to policy making, planning, and appraisal, and that you will only frame policies and plans after you have given those who will be affected by them a chance to weigh in, public comment, that sort of thing. You will not, this is school board's favorite, right? And we can all say it together. You're not going to run the schools, but see that they are well run, in concert with your fellow board members, not by yourself. E is violated all the time. Don't know why, but you're supposed to recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education, not yourself. You should not make any kind of promises or take private action that's going to compromise the work of the board or the image of the board or trust in the board. And you're going to keep your judgment independent. No matter who put you there, no matter what endorsements you receive, you're not going to be the ball carrier for any special interest group. And you are going to hold matters confidential that need to be held confidential. This one is so important. I always pause when I get to G because, when this is violated, it really does hurt people. But it's violated all the time, unfortunately. And also, you're obligated to provide accurate information. No falsehoods, of course, with your fellow board members, to interpret to the community the aspirations that you have for the school. You will vote only to appoint personnel after hearing the consideration and recommendation of this chief administrative officer, of your superintendent. You can't just pull someone out of your back pocket and hire them. And you will, one of my all-time favorites, and it's never been more important than year 2020, year 2021, I will support and protect school personnel in the proper performance of their duties. When someone tries to complain to you about a teacher or a coach or this or that, go to I. You can't participate in that type of conversation. Under the Code of Ethics, you will be beholden to support and protect school personnel. And they certainly deserve it in your level. And lastly, you will refer all complaints to your superintendent, and the board will only act on complaints at public meetings only after everyone's gone through the chain of command, and there is no solution until it gets to the Board of Education, right? So that's the code of ethics. I know you're all familiar with it. Please, thank you for indulging me in reading this aloud to you. But let's get to some of the juicy stuff. This goes to show how boring I am, that I think this is exciting. But here are some of the decisions that the commission made this year. This one was interesting. A board member did not fill out her disclosure statement properly, right? And there was a complaint, an ethics complaint against her, that she wasn't putting the proper income on her form. But the commission did determine that it was technically a violation, but there wasn't really nefarious intent there. However, intent doesn't matter, really. But she got the lowest form of a penalty, well, actually the second lowest, a censure. So that wasn't terrible, right? Actually, a parent and a teacher and a parent email was out in front of a particular board of education, right? About a superintendent handling a particular volatile event. And the board member unintentionally did a reply all, right? For all the board members to see, the superintendent was on the screen, and that parent who was complaining about, I think it was a security issue. And the board member went on, in the text of his email to describe his thoughts on the matter to everyone, to talk about things that they did in the executive session, and lo and behold, the parent, the non-board member, could read all of this. There are a few problems with this one, right? One is no reply all, right? That is a violation of OPMA. Now, the SEC does not hold you accountable for violations of OPMA, but they did acknowledge that that was a potential to have violated OPMA. But since, it wasn't put through the courts, it's not really an A. But clearly, that reply all with the parent on there, with that info from executive session, did compromise a breaching confidentiality, and so that guy got a reprimand, right? The commissioner has not affirmed that decision yet, but it was probably. This one was really nasty. This is a board member who had a blog, a social media page, that just kept going after the same teacher, who was tenured, who was in the district, and over and over. And although the board member did say on the page that these are his opinions, not those of the board, that's one thing. But he kept saying in his posts, in his blog posts, that he was a board member, that he wasn't. That's a problem, right? So sure enough, he's found in violation of several different subsections of the Code of Ethics, C, B, and I. And because it was so nasty and ongoing, he got a 6-month suspension. Not good at all, right? Not good at all. Very ugly case.
So he was suspended off the board.
Yeah.
Suspended.
Yeah. Now, I don't think that the commissioner has affirmed his decision yet, so I'm not sure if the suspension has happened just yet. But someone did get suspended this year, and he is suspended currently. We'll get to that next. This case, very interesting, okay? This one came out of a district that sends its kids, or used to, over the border to New York for high school, right? Or, yeah, we all know this one. Yep. So the board president, at the time that it was determined that this was, it's Montague in Sussex County,
Right.
they sent it for service for years, right? For years. A new board came on and decided, and was petitioning and went through the commissioner. It was an arduous process, and sure enough, they sent the kids to High Point after that, right? But a very impassioned board member who had a son in the district was elected to the board, ultimately became the board president, and just really drove the decision to, or at least tried to get the kid to go back to full service, right? If you read through this decision, it is several dozen pages. It's long. But the board president's behavior was deemed so egregious that she violated, in the Ethics Commission's opinion, C, E, and F, right? And the commission recommended a censure, but only because she was not on the board by the time this thing got through the process. If she were still on the board, they would have recommended removal. You know what's really interesting about this one is that I've worked with that board member, and, you know, and what's written in the decision is accurate, but she's not a bad person, right? She's just a very impassioned person, but she was using her role wrong. And it goes back, you know, although she, you know, it goes back to D, which she was found in violation of. It's not about just your kids, it's about everybody. So this is a real interesting one to talk about this year, because sometimes we get tunnel vision, well, not we, but I've seen board members, well-intentioned board members, who want to make a difference, get tunnel vision when it comes to a certain group, or their child, or their child's best friend, and you lose sight of what you're really supposed to be doing. So this is a good pulse check for everyone.
Which commissioner was it?
This was under, well, it was decided last year, but the current commissioner has to affirm it, so she's new, right? So we'll see. I don't see why she wouldn't, you know. It hardly matters now, okay? But it's something interesting. This one is current, okay? You may have heard about this one, okay? A board member was invited to Arizona by a vendor to learn about their products that the school board may be using. And although the board member recused himself from discussion on that, you know, when the board voted on that sort of thing and didn't participate in the vote at all, he did take a trip, right, to lovely Arizona, all expenses paid. And I don't know, nobody offered his neighbors a trip, right? I never got offered a trip or anything like that. It was pretty complicated, but ultimately, the violation of C, E, and F was determined, and initially, the board recommended well, here it says 6 months, they recommended removal, right? Removal, complete removal, but Commissioner Recollette amended that to a 6-month suspension, right? But the SEC came down really hard. If you read that language, it was like not playing around.
How that?
The commissioner lessened it, but that's the former commissioner. He's suspended right now, but he's appealing. He's appealing, so that will go in front of the new commissioner. We'll see if she affirms or adjusts the penalty. But while that appeals process is going on, he is off the board. So that's been real interesting. This one, and so those were the four big deals. Those were the four things that I wanted to talk to you about this year. Conflicts are not new; they're always the same. You know, we know the definition of immediate family and the definition of relative, right? Immediate family is that gold box at the bottom. It's either your spouse or your child who lives with you and is financially dependent on you. So your parent, even if they live with you, as far as the SEC is concerned, is not your immediate family member, but your parent does fit as a relative. This is the big definition of relatives. Anyone on here belonging to you or your spouse is a relative, right? Whether by blood, marriage, or adoption. And so that's where you have to kind of keep in mind, you know, conflicts when it comes to hiring, when it comes to reviewing your superintendent, when it comes to negotiation. I know you've seen these charts before, but if you have someone belonging to you who works in West Milford, then you cannot take place in naturally the superintendent search, but also the evaluation of your superintendent, anything to do with his contract, his miracles, anything like that, if you have an immediate family member or a relative who works in the district, right? And when it comes to negotiations, then there's a few more puzzle pieces to look at, but this chart, hold on to it for your records, it comes directly from the SEC, is a wonderful resource. And basically, if you have someone, relative or immediate family who works in the district, you're out of negotiations completely from start to finish. But if you or your immediate family works for the union in another district, you can participate in what pretty much amounts to the final vote on the contract. You can vote to ratify the contract, but only after the memorandum of agreement is reached, salary guides, all your compensation package is agreed upon, ready to go, then you're back in. Before that, you're out. If you have someone who is part of that big definition, a relative who works out of district, not in West Milford, somewhere else, whether it's Cape May or Verona or Vernon, you are in. You are in from start to finish, except, notice those little asterisks, unless there is some other kind of conflict. The most popular ones of those conflicts would be that your family member has heightened union involvement in the district where they work. They may be part of their negotiations team, maybe vice president of the union, something like that. We always advise you, you've heard me say this before, to ask your attorney. It can be kind of nuanced. They'll help you figure out what the conflicts are. Doctrine of necessity, I think you guys are all familiar with the doctrine of necessity. I've talked about it a lot, so look forward to that. And volunteerism, it's still the same. We don't have any new advice from the commission on volunteerism. It's a good thing to volunteer in the schools, but you have to be mindful that your role does not conflict with your role as a board member. So this handy 7-question chart may help you determine whether or not the volunteerism that you want to participate in West Milford would be appropriate. Basically, you're not supposed to be giving orders to staff or students or taking orders from staff. You're not supposed to be in the school all the time, like a one-time gig is fine. Chaperoning, reading, something like that is all good. Don't touch money. If you can volunteer for the Girl Scouts or the Rec Commission or something that has a separate bank account, its own bylaws, even if the membership of that organization is comprised of students or it meets in the school, as long as it's a separate organization, Boy Scouts, you're good. But you can't lead a club on your own that belongs to the school. So if the West Milford School District wanted to do a coin collecting club, you really can't be involved. And that's kind of how it goes. So just match your answers up to that and you will be good. But, as always, if there is some kind of a conflict or you're not sure, ask your school attorney. And NJSBA can also help you navigate through that as well. And then let's see, what else? We've talked about this slide is an oldie but a goodie. And it's worth mentioning, if you haven't read these decisions, they're not bad ones to read. Because the commission is very verbose in the decisions where they talk about whether interview committees are allowed or not. And it's fascinating to me that they go on and on about how they really don't like it, how board members shouldn't be involved in it, but if they are going to be involved in it, here's the strict parameters that they need to observe, which is 1 or 2 maximum, and they can only watch, they can't ask questions, they can't do much of anything really, and it has to be at the behest of the superintendent. But interestingly enough, when someone asked, well, how about exit interviews, can we participate in those? That was a very terse decision that said, no, that's a violation of D. That means you're trying to run the school, not seeing that they are all. The contrast is kind of interesting to me. And it also goes to show, when one of those opinions, the exit interview was issued in 2010. The other one about interview commissions not being encouraged was 5 years later. And the membership of the committee does change on occasion. And its guidance also changes. So advisory opinions are a good thing to ask for. Honestly, they're free. It's just a letter. Go on the website. They'll give you the address and the instructions on how to do it. But most of the time you can ask school boards or your attorney and get a pretty clear answer. Other than that, I would ask that you all consider to keep those lists of where your relatives work so that any kind of negotiated agreement or any kind of decision really that the board has to make with personnel of the district is not compromised by a conflict that you didn't know about. Use your resources, your board attorney on any kind of ethics issues, as I keep mentioning, and look at your school board notes, because if anything new and different and exciting in the world of school ethics pops up, that's where we're going to put it. And again, I'm happy to talk to you guys on anything, relating to this. Just give me a call. But in closing, it's all about public trust, right? And this is what keeps us on board. These are minimum standards. I know you guys follow them here, which is why it's really a pleasure to come out and talk to you about this and work with you. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them now. But that's kind of all that I wanted to go through with you all tonight. Anything?
Does anybody have any questions?
I don't.
All right, friends.
If not, thank you, Kathy. We appreciate you coming. And
And we'll see each other again soon, I hope.
Yeah, have a good rest of your new year.
Alex, don't put it all the way up. There we go. Now you can.
Okay, so next we're going to need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we'll move into the board reorganization resolution. Now, move it all. Is anything on this one separate?
I don't believe so.
Should we go? Yeah.
Yes, that's a resolution for consent agenda.
Do I need a resolution? Okay. So do we need a motion for a consent agenda? And you need somebody, it was moved to adopt the agenda, now we need a motion for a consent agenda so we can move all the items under one motion.
Okay, I will move for a consent agenda.
A second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we're going to move items 1 through 12. The reorganization motion, resolution. I need it. Okay, could I get a motion to adopt the move board reorganization resolution 1 through 12?
I'll move to move resolutions 1 through 12.
I'll second. Any discussion? Does anybody have any discussion on any of the motions 1 through 12? Kate?
I think this relates to maybe 1 and 2, but I've just been thinking that the remainder of this school year anyway, I was wondering if we could look to have our board meetings at a different location. Actually, the high school auditorium, for a lot of reasons that I can think of. One, at home, everyone watching, it's constantly going down, so there is a Wi-Fi issue. There is a microphone issue in this building because we don't all have one. And there's space that is, more than 5 times at the high school auditorium that if people did want to come to the next meeting, they could sit 10 feet apart. So it was an idea that I have been thinking about, and I was wondering if we could look into that.
I'm just wondering, do we really need to change that? Because we can advertise if we want to change to different locations. Right, Barb?
And I wasn't sure, I wasn't sure if anyone else was in agreement, or if Barb had ideas of why it wouldn't work.
I agree. A lot of people don't watch these anymore because they can't hear it.
I agree. Will that change, though, with moving to another location?
Well, the high school has microphones.
Better.
Yeah.
They have much better equipment than.
Yeah, we're looking into a new microphone here, but I'm also concerned when things get back to normal, that the auditorium is not going to be available because they'll have other things going on, concerts or the play, and there'll be props on the stage, and we won't be able to use the facility the way we have the access to this one. So I know that we're working on getting new microphones, and I think that an upgraded sound system would certainly help. Not using masks in front of the microphone would definitely help also.
I think the new microphones is a big plus because we're not going to have one to share. We're going to get microphones for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one good thing, but that doesn't do anything for our feed that our people are watching at home. You know, that's our Wi-Fi, that's the building thing. I would hope that our high school has better Wi-Fi. I mean, it is what it is, I don't know. I mean, there's numerous reasons. I just wanted to
No, I
look
understand what you're
into it for
saying.
this year, you know.
I don't want to put Winston on the spot, but Winston, is there an issue with the connection or is it an issue with what we're using?
It really was an issue with the way that our Wi-Fi was configured. And that would basically, that we would have the same problem anywhere in the district.
So with me doing the tapings here and also around the district, it kind of
I've gotten our money's worth out of the system and then some because it's been here forever. It probably will go in some museum when we're done. So I think that would be a big plus. But we also do can move to another venue if, you know, say everybody feels that meeting needs it. All right?
So, I know we're getting into now the winter sports / play season. Is the play starting up with practices and all that again in the auditorium, or?
I believe so. The winter sports start on Monday, the 11th,
Right.
coming up Monday. So then I have to check with the play and the Township and whatnot. So, off the top of my head, I don't know when they are starting, but we are moving in that direction starting on Monday.
Because so the reason I'm asking, I understand what Barbara's saying, but for 1 or 2 nights during the course of a month, to be able to spread out in a more effective way on a stage, to be able to allow more people to spread out in an audience, and to have the proper technology there from a sound system perspective. I mean, I know maybe doesn't, like it makes good sense to do that for the 2 or 3 or likely the remainder of this school year, maybe not next school year, but I mean, I think it makes sense. I mean, I think that's kind of where you were going when you said you agree, right?
I think the question that I would raise when I think about the stage, I don't know if we would be able to, I think this part is deeper. I don't know how we would space ourselves out and still be able to, you know, be in the, it definitely would be better for an audience, but I don't know how well it would be for the board. I think we'd have to look at it.
Yeah, I'm remembering from our times there for the student recognition, and I think, right, when we had those tables set up, I do think we could, there would be 6 feet.
I think we-
so half on stage, half down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I still think you could get them on stage. I mean, we have auditoriums in our county, for
That is one of
sure.
our shining stars.
Yeah.
That definitely is, that really is up there. I mean, do you want,
Right now, J. Romeo for Crazy's blocked off for the folks.
Right. But I think if all of us are there, Nate, you probably could film from back far, you're gonna get the whole group, right?
Get the whole group.
Let me try to coordinate it.
okay.
Okay, but I don't think it means that we need to change the resolution. We could just announce that, the...
Where it is each month?
Been changed.
Yeah, we used to rotate through the district years ago. We used to
Right.
have a meeting we used to have a board meeting at every school. Really?
Yes, I remember
Yes,
that.
because it gave people a chance to their building and, get a feel for the building. The board members got to, walk through the building prior and meet with the
Sounds like a plan.
we haven't done it because it's always an issue.
It sounds like a community
Yeah, it was like
atmosphere.
community outreach, and it was because the schools were, there were people who maybe lived in Apshawa and never went to UGL, and they wanted to give an overview of what the building looked like and that. So, I'm sure we could even.
That was nice, that's a nice idea.
I like that for the future. I would love to do that again.
Yeah, it's a good way to get out to the public and, maybe you would get more people to come from that area for that meeting.
Well, to be, right, we've always talked, right, and we have all these neighborhood schools, and that's for a reason,
Right.
because of how spread out we are. I think that might be nice for the people in UGL, right, to travel down here maybe is a lot different than traveling 3 minutes or 5 minutes from their house.
It might be harder in the smaller schools with social distancing, 6 feet apart, to have crowds there. In a normal era, it might be easier.
That might be for the,
Yeah.
that might be for the 2021-22 school year.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, that is another way to kind of get the, the feel for the, because I think one of the issues you're trying to address, Kate, is the communication with the public. And I think that would be a good avenue to go down. So I don't think, does anybody feel that we have to change the resolution? I think we can just do it on a month-by-month basis if you'd like.
Whoever personally wants to Put my name on it.
How about mics with no cords?
I'll bring my own.
Well, we're going to look at wireless.
Some of the issues with wireless are the usual connectivity issues. The wired mics are always a little bit more functional, a little more durable, not going to short out as opposed to the wireless where
Plus, you have to think about the batteries that you have to change out.
batteries could kick out right before a meeting. There's a million whatever. So we're looking at both wireless and wired. I think the wireless is a little bit more expensive, but we'll see. So.
And is everybody okay with that, doing that as a month-by-month thing?
Yes, great.
Any other discussion on any of the on the rest of the resolutions here?
This is up to 12, correct?
Yep.
Just give them a few more minutes.
Give them 2 more minutes? Oh, okay.
Pretty good?
I'm good.
Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mr. Oshinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
I know I just voted on that, and Barb said, wait a minute, because I was thinking, I'm sorry, can I say one other thing? Sure. And I don't know if this is even the place, but Linda, in the public meeting, I don't know if this is even helpful, but is this where number 6, where we could say, is it possible that Linda only has to read the public comment thing once at a meeting and not every time, or does she have to read it every time before?
We do have to do it. We can try to shorten it, which we've done once before. We'll look at it
I was just
again.
curious if this is the meeting where we talk about that, right? Because I always look at it when we read it twice at every each meeting.
You're not sitting next to Linda, I know what it's like.
It's a little much for all.
I
always feel bad for
have
you.
one that did not read it.
You know, and we know, you know, to state the rules or whatever, maybe a little bit for her.
I think maybe we'll kind of get together and try to see if we could condense it a little bit
If we
more.
had an attorney.
Sorry I didn't have that. My department, so I was looking.
Sorry.
Old business, does anybody have anything under old business? If not, I need a motion to close old business.
I'll make a motion to close old business.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
New business, does anybody have anything for new business? Mr. Guarino?
So, I guess it's old business, but it feels like new business again. So talking, I know that Jay has had some conversations with Parks and Rec, and we've talked, the track, the bicycle, yeah, thank you, track. I think that they may have thought they were waiting on us to hear from us as to whether.
I didn't know that.
They were looking for some kind of feedback on the educational aspect, and then kind of COVID hit. And so I can pick it up and see where it is.
Okay. And again, Jay, you might want to comment on this. I don't know much, but I think that they are still very in tune with wanting to do that. And I think that, that's an important piece. And we all, the previous group, I mean, I think it was even before maybe Courtney, Jay, and Mike were on the board.
Yeah.
I think we all agreed it was a great thing. So I don't know if there's anything.
Last I talked to them, they told me that they're waiting for the response.
Yeah.
So, or maybe we can send a letter and reach out to them and just see what.
Yeah, I'll look and see where we were, and
Great, thank you.
I don't think anybody's changed their mind.
No, I don't think so either.
I guess
I feel like maybe we
the
should,
nature
again,
of
COVID
everything
came,
that's
I feel like
happened,
we
you
probably
kind
should,
of moved to a back burner and,
yeah.
any other new business? If not, I need a motion to close new business.
Motion to close new business?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, now I get to read that comment, please.
but there's nobody here.
There's nobody here.
Time for public comment. This portion of the meeting is open to the members of the public having a legitimate interest in the actions of the board for the purpose of addressing any subject matter pertinent to and/or directly related to the operation of the West Milford Public School District. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed until the 30-minute time period transpires. All speakers are asked to sign the register provided and give their full name, spell their last name, group affiliation if appropriate, and provide their address. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and respectful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged, and the board and the administration will not respond to them. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey. The board is not responsible and is not liable for any comment made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments. Members of the public are reminded that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. We don't have any public.
I'll make a motion to close public comment.
Dave?
Second.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If not, we don't need an executive session. So I guess.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
To adjourn. Steve?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yep.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night. Yep.
Hey.